this is Liz from A Lizard Reads, and I'm here to talk to you about my books that I've read thus far in January. So I did set the goal to read 8 books, and I'm already there with 4. Yeah, I've already read 4. So I'm going to talk to you about those 4, and then I'll talk to you about the one I'm in the process of reading, and we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoy this, and they're books you want to read too. Book number 1 is Hello Universe by Erin Entrada Kelly. This is a middle school aged book, and you get that feeling when you're reading it because it's not too heavy, but at the same time it definitely deals with some complicated things, I think, for sure. And it's just about kids in middle school, and summer has just begun, and they're trying to figure out like who they are, you know? Well, it's told from 4 points of view. There's a quiet, shy kid, and a very confident young lady, and a girl who is deaf, and then a bully, pretty much. And you just get to follow their stories, and you get to see how they intertwine. Like, you know more of the story than any of the 4 characters, so that's nice. And you get to see it from all their perspectives, and I found that really cool. This was a read for my book club that I'm in, and it was so fun to go and discuss all the different things that we saw with all of our different viewpoints in reading the exact same book. And so it was really cool. It was something that was really fun. And one of the ladies in my book club has actually gotten to meet the author and read some of her other works, and just says they're absolutely amazing. So go give Erin Entrada Kelly a try. Book number 2 is The Night Circus. I tried reading this one a long time ago, and I didn't like it the first time, and the first like 70% of this book, I had no idea what was going on. I was enjoying it, it was cool, but there were so many characters and storylines that I was kind of getting really lost. And it wasn't until about that 70% way through that I realized what was going on, and I was able to follow the story. So I think I'll like it a lot more once I read it again. So I'm gonna put it on my to read list here in like 6 months, and see if maybe, because I know the story better now, I'll understand it. Hi, buddy. Do you have any opinions on the book? Say hello. Hi, my name is Bowser, and I'm very happy. Anyway, and just see if I can glean more. I don't want to read the sequel at this time, but I just know I'm not ready for that yet, because I didn't get the full experience of the first book, because I was just so confused a lot of the time. And I think part of that might be because I was listening to it while working and things like that, and I wasn't able to kind of like see the names and keep them straight in my brain. So that some little, yeah, bad, yeah. And anyway, so I'm excited to give it another try, and this time actually be able to understand a little more. So we'll cover that when I get there. Okay, book number 3 that I read was I See London, I See France by Sarah Malowski. I know I totally butcher her last name, but it's got too many consonants for me to keep straight. I had read a book by her before, and this one was just as fun, but a lot more grown up. There was a lot more cursing and a lot more talk about sex and drugs and things like that. But she blended them in very well with this story, I think. It's about a young girl named Sydney who has just finished her first year of college and is going on this like dream trip with her best friend from childhood. And she has a lot of anxiety going on this vacation. It's going on like a 6-week-long trip in Europe, and they just kind of know they're flying into London and they're flying out of Rome, and they don't know what they're gonna do in between, and they've kind of left that up in the air for new experiences. Like, they're open to go anywhere, and that's kind of my dream trip. Like, that's always been the goal. So it was really fun to read that. Her mom has a lot of anxiety, and it has actually led her to not leave the house ever. And so she talks about her anxiety of leaving her mom for the first time and letting her little sister take over. and be in charge of the mom while she's out having adventures, and she feels guilty about that, and you can feel that, and then she has her own anxiety she deals with. And so it's kind of a wonderful read where you're like, oh, fun, Europe, London, Amsterdam, oh wait, panic attack. Like, it just brings it back in. And I actually got so invested in the story that near the end I was like having anxiety myself with the character because it was so well written and I just related with the character really well. So I think that's really cool, and it was nice because it resolved itself in the end, so I felt resolved. It was just something that's a really great talent to have when you're writing, is to get that emotion through so that the reader can feel it as well. And maybe it's because I've had anxiety at times in my life too that it was very relatable for me. But it was just something I really enjoyed. And I know there's an idea of there being a second book to this, and I could definitely see where she would make a sequel, but it doesn't look like it's going to come out, at least not from what I can see. The book was released in 2017, and thus far there's just like a second book to I See London, I See France on Goodreads, and no like title or anything like that. Book 4 is His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. I did not expect to like this book, as you might have heard in my previous video when I introduced all the books I was going to try and read in January. I just threw this one in because it looked interesting and I felt like there was a common thread with all the stories I was reading and I wanted something different. And I am so grateful that I just randomly picked this book because it was amazing. From the very second I started it, I couldn't put it down. I was just turned it on for a little bit before falling asleep, and instead of falling asleep, I stayed up for like another 4 hours because I wanted to know more about this story. And that's been the gist of it ever since until I finished it at like 3 a.m. last night. It was awesome. It mixes the Napoleonic Wars with England with dragons. The story starts off with Captain Lawrence being a naval captain in the English Navy. They're during that war between Napoleon and everybody pretty much. They have dragons that they use in like their air fleets, and he takes over this French ship that has a dragon egg on it. And for them to be able to get a dragon so they'll let him ride it and stuff, they have to harness it right away after it's hatched if the dragon is willing. And so they all take straws, pull straws, and see who will get the dragon. And he's so relieved when he doesn't get it because he loves being a captain in the Navy and all this kind of stuff. But then the dragon totally snubs the guy who picked the straw that he would have to be the dragon rider, and the dragon chooses him instead. And you just get to know Captain Lawrence and the dragon Temeraire because, oh my goodness, he's going insane. You get to see the fun relationship between Captain Lawrence and his dragon Temeraire and see how they both grow into becoming dragon riders and being part of the air fleet. And you get to see, like, it's still, 18th century England and all that fun stuff that you get from books I love, like, Jane Austen. But it's from a male point of view, which was really nice. And he's a gentleman point of view, so that was nice as well. He is just trying to do his best by his dragon because he has a great relationship with that. And I appreciated a lot that it wasn't like Aragorn, which I kind of wondered if it would be, in the sense that the dragon and the rider don't have like a mind connection. They just communicate verbally. And so I liked that. It gave the dragons a little bit more of a personality and a character rather than just some mind warped connection thingy majiggy. So it was cool. There was a lot of dragons, which was nice too, because normally in books they're all like rare or really hard to find, and I'm doing air quotes a lot, but in this one they're not as much. And there's this awesome feature in that one of the dragon breeds will only hatch for women, so there's women riders, and it's so cool to see Captain Lawrence's reaction to that, because in 18th century England, women were just housewives and marriageable objects, and so that's really cool to see and to hear about. I did start the second book last night as well at 3 a.m. and I'm already super interested to see where that one goes. And that will give me a bonus 9th book if I can get that one finished. There is 9 or 10 books in this series and they're all about 10 hours long on Audible. So we'll see where it turns out and if I decide to read them all right now or if I just decided to pace them out or if I want to continue with this series, but I can see it going pretty good and pretty strong. Book number 5 is Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. This book I couldn't find anywhere on Audible or in any audiobook format, and so I am reading it with my eyeballs on Kindle, and so it's going a little slower than the other books. I'm about 20% through the book. It's pretty quick read and it's really enjoyable. At first, I thought it was going to remind me a lot of the premise of Bras and Broomsticks, but I'm realizing it's more like the movie Practical Magic that came out in the 90s. It's about 2 sisters who have lived their whole life on this island. I'm pretty sure it's off the East Coast because she talks about how warm the water would be if they lived off the West Coast, and that just didn't feel right because I live on the west side of the country. I've been to the west side of the ocean, the western ocean of the United States, I guess, and it's freezing. At least in Oregon and Washington, it is very cold. It's a really cute story about 2 sisters. They're both about to leave for college at the end of the summer, and on their island they have a tourist season, which is when a bunch of bird watchers come to watch this special bird who the sisters think is their ancestor. It's like their great 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 aunt who was a witch, and all the women in their family are witches who have different powers that come to them before the age of 18. And so they think that that's their aunt who comes back every year for about 2 months in the summer, and all these bird watchers come to the island to see. Thus far, I'm really liking this story. There's a couple of really cute romances that are starting to develop between the characters, and there's differences between each character in a good way, and itty-bitty flaws or insecurities and things like that that I just think make for a great story. So I'm interested to see where this goes and let you guys know in the wrap-up of the books I've been reading for January. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I really enjoyed all these books. I didn't have one that I didn't love, and give high ratings on Goodreads, which you can come and follow me here. Oh my goodness, there's my dog. So I hope you guys enjoy that and enjoy reading these books if you choose to read them. I think they were really fun and I highly recommend them. Especially His Majesty's Dragon. I didn't expect that one to be something I liked. Somebody said in a Goodreads review that I loved that it's not about a romance, it's a bromance, and it's kind of true. It's all about creating that like group of strong people together, and I loved that. It was kind of cool. There's a little bit of romance thrown in, but I mean, it's like, and they looked at each other and there was a spark. And that's it. It's not exactly like that, but it's pretty close. I hope you all have a great day. Come and follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of these fluffy little babies. There's the puppy. If you want to see more about me and my life, and if you want to recommend a book that I should read in the rest of January or put on my list to read in February, please leave it here in the comments. And also please like, comment, and subscribe to these videos so that you can see the update at the end of the month on my final review of Summer of Salt and the other 4 books that I plan on reading this month. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and see ya! Liar! And that's how the cookie crumbles. Have a good day. Bye.